Welcome to the Outer Realms with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey for the last few years. Thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you. Also, big thank you to Justice Snicker, a.k.a. Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for his contribution of his music and his voice and his time for the intro that you just heard. He is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite streaming platforms. Also, thank you, Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror genre and does unbelievable commission pieces. So tonight, tonight we don't really welcome anybody but ourselves and you, our chat room, actually. I know, right? I know.
It's odd.
It's open mic night, and I know. So a lot of people have been waiting for this. I'm just emailing myself something that I need for this evening. So
yeah, I've been waiting for this too.
And we've tried to take into account a lot of information that was sent over to us, and stuff that we asked, upon closing the last time. What would you guys like to see talked about? So there's some stuff that's pretty much in the news that we're going to go over. And then there's other stuff that's, just that we have basically put together and thought we would kind of have a parlay about it. Because again, there's a lot out there right now. So holy crud. But with that being said, Wayne and I did an incredible show with another of our hosts here on United Public Radio, which is Vicki Benison.
Ooh,
with Vicki. It's on our channel. It's on YouTube.
Love Vicki.
And we talked about vampires, and I showed a lot of photos from a couple of locations I was at in Romania, just because of the fact that so many people through the years have asked about the interior, and the show was on vampires. So, Wayne talked about the books, his books, Vampire Tales, and we talked about folklore and origins. So go check it out. It's a really light-hearted listen, and it was just a lot of fun, and didn't have to really be switched on. So, but I was looking at pictures today while I was bringing them up of Bran Castle and looking at it kind of going, gosh, now I know where, I have my love of some of this furniture, because there's a lot of similarities with some of the stuff that's here and some of the stuff I was looking at. And I've always said, whenever I've traveled someplace, my inspiration for a lot of what we have around, the surroundings of the house has been based on a lot of my travels. And looking at it, kind of going, yep, there it was. There it was. Yeah, I think Kathy hung in there. Hey, Kathy. It's great to see you. We have a lot of familiar faces in there today. So
that's nice.
From Australia. Hey. Welcome.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's morning.
It is.
Good morning.
It is. We have Alan, Z-Son, Janie, Wayne. Hello. So, yeah, a lot of fun. Just a whole lot of fun. So now we get more into some serious stuff, but in a fun way. So, Bubbles, where do you want to start?
Christopher. I think we should just go right out there with this new Annabelle doll.
Okay.
Yeah, I caught it on TikTok because I follow our friend Bishop James on there, and I love to see him commenting on other videos.
Hi, Mark.
His reactions are funny sometimes,
Right.
and he's so pure when he speaks. You'll never hear him say anything,
Right.
like the way we talk. But anyways,
Oh, boy.
so he says, "You are kidding me!" As soon as he sees it, I shared the video. I put it on our Facebook page. I have it on my page.
Right.
There is a collector box, and it's geared to children.
Now, is it Annabelle or is it from the Conjuring movie Annabelle?
It's actual Raggedy Ann.
Okay, so there's 2 versions that are out then.
That other one that I showed
From
you
the movie.
that came out when the movie came out. I just happened to see that. I didn't know
Right,
until
okay.
I
Just
didn't know
wanna be
till I
clear.
saw the video, because I'm
Right.
like, I'm looking at it going, a lot of people who are maybe, a little bit younger than us, like a year or 2, really wouldn't know the real
Mhm.
Annabelle doll, right? They would just see it as the Conjuring series, and
Right.
especially if they're in their 20s, right? They're
Mhm.
yeah, he's the real deal. He definitely is.
Yes.
So he would lost the train of my thought. I really believe that they wouldn't even recognize. They really believe that that doll that's portrayed in the
Mhm.
film is Annabelle, and it's not. It was a Raggedy Ann doll. So they have this little doll, and there's a little rosary, there's holy water bottle, pretend, and
Yes. The holy water.
and the deliverance book.
So question, who put it out?
That's
Who
what I don't know.
so you
I'm
don't
going to dig for that
you
because I
don't
can't even
know who put
find
it?
it. I can't even find it, but yet it's on a shelf somewhere. I think Bishop James said Dollar Tree or something. I don't know, because in the States and in Canada, the stores are different. Hi,
Mhm.
Jonathan. Yeah,
Mhm.
their stores are different. So we don't
Mhm.
carry the same things that you do in the US.
Right.
I'm going to dig deeper on that because I couldn't find it anywhere online except for that TikTok video that this person, and there were several. So this is in mass production for sure.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same people who are making the Ouija board for
Mhm.
children, because it says age 8 and up.
Mhm.
And yes, Kathy, the
Mhm.
one with Bishop James.
Mhm.
Yeah, are you kidding me? He was so upset. And he said, and you wonder why that possession is on the rise.
Mhm.
You wonder why demons are on the rise, because they're being given these dolls to do. They think it's playtime, just like they did with the Ouija board a long time ago. And I feel that there's something more to this than promoting a film, because it doesn't say anything on it. It doesn't
Mhm.
show the doll they used on the film, because if they used the doll on the film, that the creators of Raggedy Ann probably would have sued them,
Mm.
right? There's
Yes.
branding and everything, so they probably would have sued them.
Well, I would imagine that, Lorraine Warren's family, Tony and Judy Spira could sue them if they really wanted to, if they're not behind it, which I haven't seen
No, I'm
anything come
saying
up that they were mass producing this.
I'm
So,
saying if the producer had put Raggedy Ann doll in the
mhm.
film rather than that porcelain doll, the film series would have been sued. They would have been sued.
Oh, because of Raggedy Ann is
Yes,
definitely
yeah,
a
that's what I
franchise
mean.
thing. Right,
I don't think they
right.
can. I don't think that the Sparrows
Yeah,
can
right,
sue them for
right.
making this. If anything, you have to have it branded, and who's going to brand a haunted object?
I don't
Be
know.
careful now. Be careful now. I'm just going to leave that part there. Be careful
Yeah,
now, because there is a
right,
consequence to everything.
right, right.
I find this horrendous. I was I wasn't laughing at all when I saw this. My heart fell into my stomach. All the reactions on my posts have been wow, like the
Mhm.
emojis, they've all
Mhm.
been in shock. Don't be so shocked. Not too long ago, they started this with Ouija boards. Now, who better to bring in create an invitation than a child?
Mm.
Vulnerable, naive child.
I've seen adults do it. Never mind.
No, I know, but I'm saying to gear this to
Mm.
children and using the real Raggedy Ann doll, that's going to sell it. So I wonder, okay, maybe I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist because I think I'm on X too much, but I did get blocked. Anyways, I wonder if something darker is behind this.
Well, we live in different times.
Exorcisms are on the rise. Now we have a
Mm.
different, since Vatican II, you've been able to, anyone who is deemed capable by the Vatican can administer deliverance and do this exorcism until they can get to them because there are so many.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, and nowhere to be found. But we are censored in Canada, so I have to
Mhm.
try through a different browser. But I did try. I dug, and all I could find was that video.
Mhm.
But
Well,
like I said, there were several on the shelf, so there has to be more somewhere else.
eventually they all make their way, internationally. So it'll be interesting, if it's just a Halloween thing or what the deal is.
It was
But
next to the other dolls on the shelf, like
nice.
Barbies and
Oh boy. It's like, I think more adults would buy it really
well,
than
for Chucky, like Chucky dolls, I know a lot of people who have them and they put them out
mhm.
for Halloween,
Oh,
but
for sure. Well,
this
they have them year round. You could get them at there used to be a store that used to have a lot of gag stuff, and they used to sell it. That and the Tiffany doll. I know my daughter had the Tiffany doll. She sat there,
yeah,
when she outgrew it.
she's still on the
I
market.
threw it in there, threw a bunch of salt in it,
Yeah.
bagged her through.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, she's still on the
oh,
market, and
yeah, I
you have
know.
to see the various sizes of the Conjuring doll. I won't call her
Mm.
the I
Well, I
won't
think
call her Annabelle
she's
because
down as the Conjuring doll, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken,
yeah,
as
because
well.
they can't
So
yeah,
yeah,
the Conjuring doll from the
right.
movie The Conjuring. It's very disturbing. Just
Mhm,
my opinion, it's very disturbing. Not
mhm,
because I mean any other dolls, those are just stories that are told. This is
mhm,
based on truth and she has created a
mhm,
lot of problems,
mhm.
and she has been linked to accidents that have resulted in death of people who have mocked her.
Oh, I've met Annabelle, believe me.
Yeah, Michelle has been face to face. So
Mhm.
I
There
and
was
I
an
find it
interesting
offensive.
photo,
I
that was captured, after I walked away. Someone, or I think it was Wayne, caught a picture, and the eyes looked like they shifted towards me,
Yeah.
and I remember showing it to Tony, and he goes, "It's only happened one other time." He goes, "Did you get a picture?" I said, "Yeah," and showed him the picture. He had a few choice words,
Oh yeah.
but it was just like, "Oh, wow,
Well, she
okay."
knew she could communicate with you, right? I
Oh, she was communicating just fine. I'm like, "No, no, I can't do that at all," but, you know,
yeah.
it
I
was an
just
interesting little parlay.
yeah, I'm just I don't understand why I can't find who the manufacturer of that doll is.
Mm,
So if any of
gotta be up there
you
somewhere. You
in the
buy it,
US have a
take a
minute,
picture of the box. Yeah.
hit hit the I even tried to zoom in, I couldn't read it.
Mm,
Hit your browser if you're not in Canada
mhm,
and search that and let me know because we're censored here. So everything I
mhm,
put in doesn't always come out and I get very few things back. All I got back was the TikTok video. I just know it's not just one doll. You could see it's mass produced. It's very high quality. It's not cheap or anything. Um, I
the fact
just
that it's at the dollar store, it's not gonna be the best
I
quality,
don't
but
know if he said
yeah,
Dollar Tree or if he
Dollar Tree,
misunderstood
wherever it
because
is, right.
I've never been in a dollar store in the US, so
Mm,
I have
right.
no idea, but I am going to go back on my thing here because it's driving me crazy. that this even exists, because I have the captions. Okay, playset. It's called an exorcism playset. Warning: do not open. Just like the actual box. But I think Catholics are going to have a fit, because it's mini Annabelle, because there comes with a rosary. I mean, if we put prayer beads in there, you know who's going to be up in arms. The dollar store and the Dollar Tree are different stores in the US. Thanks, Ellen. Yeah, it's because it's only got Bishop James's activity is on the rise, and now you can be a junior demonologist.
Wowzers.
So they're encouraging that, but every time you put in mini Annabelle doll, you'll get the other conjuring doll set. Like,
okay, well,
yeah, you always get the other one. Like, it doesn't come up at all. It's driving me crazy. It doesn't come up at all. Not at all.
Got to be out there. We have a lot.
It has to be. It's on a store shelf. So
feel free to take some pictures. Send us some info if you have it. Just email it on over so we can put Amelia's quest to rest. And right. Next, I want to talk about what the hell is going on with the Conjuring House, and I don't want to mention any names because I don't want to be tagging anybody.
You don't want to be tagged by her either.
That's what I'm talking about. So apparently, there's a lot in the news. People are just like, what the heck has gone on with the new owner of the Conjuring House? Has she lost her mind? I know Jason Haw, who I can say from Ghost Hunters, almost had to, he did have to seek out legal counsel because she was harassing him and texting him. And
hundreds of
times. Yeah, it got really, really, really crazy. And I mean, I think she was sued, or she's being sued due to lies, allegedly. I have not been following this. I won't lie. I have not been following it. I saw something come up, and I just kind of went, you know what? I'm going to write this down, and it's something that we can talk about with all of you guys tonight. You can check it out, do your own homework on it. But as of just a couple of days ago, there was something that came out on YouTube. You could probably go find it. And it's titled Conjuring House Owner Blames Spirits After She is Sued. Now, I don't ever rule out spirits by any means, because I think if you are in a house, apparently the last owners were awesome with the house. However, let's explore this for a moment. Okay, when you have a haunted location that you open up to the public for filming and investigations, everybody has their own techniques, their own way of doing things. But you have a lot of people coming in, and they are looking to communicate with whomever is in the space. They all have their own ways of doing this. Sometimes you're inviting things in to come to communicate with you. Things come in, things piggyback. You're using spirit boards. And I always say, in the hands of kids, I don't agree that they should be sold to kids at all. But I believe a lot of it has to do with mindset, because you don't need a Ouija board to do any sort of Ouija board activity. You don't have to do it. In fact, you could use a phone app. You could use a camera, a voice recorder, anything. If you are putting that intention out, you're going to get it 9 times out of 10 if there's something there. So with that being said, is it possible that something has attached to this lady? Is it possible that she's being influenced by beings within the home, the space? What causes somebody to just go?
But if she had an attachment, she wouldn't know.
Most of the time, not.
That's why I find it a little weird that unless somebody gave her the idea. I don't know her. I know that Zach Bagans is chiming in on it. There is a video with him. I haven't seen it.
Mm.
I've only read what Jason has posted because he's been open about it. He's done interviews on the news, and he's also been open about it. I mean, he is a well-respected paranormal researcher and investigator. This comes to slander and libel right now, and she's harassing his family. But it did start that his daughter was there, and it started with story, and I don't know the whole story there, so I'm not going to speak. You can find it on his Facebook account. He actually posts it. I think
apparently the Facebook for the Conjuring House is down. It's gone.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, funny that Facebook Meta takes that down, but will not show my stats on child trafficking, but that's another thing. Anyways, I believe that Jason's intention was not to bring light to who she is for anyone else, but to like us people, but for people who have worked with her or maybe incurring the same issues with her, you know, similar to what Jason and his family have gone through. So I believe that's why he was so vocal about it and so open about it, was to protect anyone else who's going through it, to say, listen, it's not, you know, like we're going through this too. And I'm sure more people will come out because that's not an isolated incident. I just think he got the brunt of it because he was probably the last one there.
You know, it's definitely in the news. It is right in your face in the news. So it will be interesting.
Like MSN news, not just ours. Yeah.
I know. Jason Allen is from Ghost Hunters. You might remember the TV show Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International, because he's asking. So that's who he is, Jason Haas.
He changed the name after he split with them.
Yeah, but then I think he went back to it. Actually, I think it's on now currently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't watch the shows, so I don't know.
I actually don't watch paranormal television, believe it or not.
I'll watch a documentary, but not television. I do, however, like watching Jack Osborne with the Ghost Brothers when they go over different clips of incidents at different famous places, because it is hilarious. They're really funny together.
Right.
Just put that out there.
Sorry, I'm just looking for something else. Hold on.
It's really frustrating me that I can't Google that that darn doll.
Okay. So I'm going to put something else up. Okay.
All right.
All right. So next we're going to talk about, I'm actually going to share this up too with you guys.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, Christopher. I don't want the doll. I just want to know where it was made. Sorry.
Okay.
But thank you for that generous offer.
The Poltergeist house, I guess I was going to say, is up for sale. But I guess the Poltergeist house has found a buyer, even though the price is still a mystery. This article is courtesy of the Los Angeles Times, just so we tag them and give them the credit.
Like the house they used to film?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there it is. There it is. The famous Poltergeist house central location in the classic Tobe Hooper directed horror film has found a buyer less than 3 weeks after it was placed on the market.
Did Bagans buy this too?
I don't know, because there's a lot of conspiracy stuff that follows the whole Poltergeist
movie. A lot of stuff
movie.
happened there.
You know, there's a lot. I think we talked about it on another show.
Yeah.
But the listing price was $1,174,999, so 1.75 essentially. The final negotiated price is unknown.
Of course it is.
Right. So I
that's
guess
a celebrity purchase.
Yeah, might be.
A celebrity purchase.
So that is that. So
did we ever find out what Bagans paid for the Demon House?
I do not know what he paid for the Demon House. Oh,
I'm just curious if that was ever out there, because that would be a conspiracy to link him to the Poltergeist house.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think there's been any reports of it being haunted, but there was definitely issues with it during filming. A lot of people dying and so on. Janie says her husband has been there. It's like, oh, hi Heidi. So
Yeah, they're not.
Janie's husband, why would your husband be at the poltergeist? I was curious. Very, very cool. I just sent you the ad on Messenger. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I
Let,
would
let me
never
let me
swim in
go
that
grab
pool.
it. Let me go grab it. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
wow,
hold
after
on.
45 years.
I'm gonna email this to myself here. 1 second. And then I can put it up for you guys. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Send it. All right, let's wait for it to arrive. Thank you. Thank
That
you.
would make one heck of a Halloween party. Just saying.
Okay, here we go. Here we are. Oh, she's not cheap, this thing. Hold on.
Oh, she's up there. You found her?
Kathy's just sent it, so we're gonna put
Kathy,
it up
you're the
right now.
best. You're the best, Kathy.
Here we go. Here it is. Bam. Boom. Here we go.
Oh, I can't see anything. American?
Yeah, Canadian. Pre-order the
$100
Annabelle
Canadian.
exorcism kit.
Etsy. Oh, somebody's selling it privately.
Mm-hmm.
Who is behind this? Now, Etsy's
I
got
don't
privacy
know.
laws, so this is going to be a tough one. Does it say who the seller is?
I don't know. They've just found it. Just has 20 views. Yeah, designed by the occult collector.
Yeah, that's just
And
someone who
now you
sells
could be
stuff.
junior demonologist. This is a pre-order, allow 30 days for delivery. Each doll is vintage and color differences are to be expected. So they're using
they're
vintage older
Raggedy
dolls.
Raggedy Ann could come after them.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's laws, because I know there aren't licensing, because I found the Dobie from Harry Potter, the pattern for crochet on
Mhm.
Etsy. I buy a lot of crochet patterns on there because you get some really talented people on that site. Obviously, that looks manufactured by a factory. It doesn't look.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, you've
Where do
got
you
the
buy all these
boxes, so
dolls?
I don't know. It's not hard to print out something, I guess, and and you have these little things, but it is interesting, and he does state that the dolls are vintage and will all look different. They're not all going to look the same. So
But are they authentic? How do we know?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
That's gonna put me on
The
Etsy
fact
all night.
remembers.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm gonna
I
be all
know.
over that later.
I know.
I wanna
Okay.
share it
So
with Bishop James.
before we get too far up, I just want to address some comments and questions. So first one is Wayne.
Yes. Hi, Wayne. Okay, I have one for you. I have a friend who went to see the Annabelle movie. She hates horror, but went anyway. When she got home, a toy that talks was in a closet without batteries and began talking.
I'll give you an answer. I'm thinking it was psychokinesis. Maybe her fear, maybe she projected that energy out of just straight fear, being on edge. Or maybe she had a loved one who was just messing with her because she was scared. I have loved ones on the other side that would do that. Okay, Christopher James, another.
Sorry.
Here we go.
Hi, Christopher, and thank you for that generous offer. I still like the fact that the Ouija board is around, because I had a good experience myself, Amelia. Well, I'm glad you had a good experience.
A lot of people do.
Yeah,
A lot of people do.
it's not the board, it's how you use it, right?
Okay. Alan?
Alan says, in Poltergeist, didn't they use real skeletons in that pool scene and it freaked the actors out? I don't know.
They sure did.
I was really young. Oh, sorry.
No, they sure did.
So I was really small when that movie came out. I think I watched it later in life, but
No,
I
they sure
hated
did.
the remake. And please, if you're listening, Hollywood, stop with the remakes on the horror films. Hi, Jeannie.
This is for the poltergeist house. I said, why was your husband at the poltergeist house? This is the answer.
Oh, he was there. He is an engineer, and Marwin
Well,
lives next door to that house.
there we go. There we go.
Oh,
So
wow. Hi, Dolly.
I
Yeah.
know. So I don't know, man. I think it's awesome. I love
Wow.
it. So, the world of the paranormal has been super, super busy. So we're going to sidetrack a little bit now to other things. We're going to talk about CERN. And I know I don't want to say it too many times, might flag us, but so because it's a government thing. But a scientist, a physicist, sorry, just came forward and reported that there's actually a portal underneath this facility where multidimensional beings come out. This physicist has just reported that there is a portal there. Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, a Swiss scientist and researcher, has, I guess, garnered, I'm just reading exactly what the post was, significant attention in recent years due to her bold and controversial claims about this facility. And according to her, it's not just a hub of advanced scientific research, but it's also involved in a secret nuclear program and hosts a portal beneath its facilities to which mysterious beings come and go. Now, with that being said, a lot of people for a lot of years have been saying, oh, you guys are, manifesting this portal and things and so on. To which, of course, they're like, no, not the case. So this is something that's just come out recently as well. And we wanted to address it. Because can you imagine you have something of that magnitude of power, and all of a
Mm.
sudden you got a portal and boop, that's a pretty big that's a pretty bold statement to make
As a scientist, yeah. She
as a
still has a
scientist.
job?
Well, I mean, you're
Wow.
putting your really putting your reputation on the line to come out with something like that. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, isn't it? We don't know. And it's definitely interesting. I think it's because we're at a time right now where there's a lot of whistleblowers coming out. And there were a lot of people, going back in the last 2 decades who would whistleblow, and people just sort of said, nope, not true, not true, not true. Now people are looking at those same whistleblowers going, damn it, he was right, or
Yeah.
she was right.
There's a
So
lot coming true.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I think with that being said, we have to just sort of kind of just go with it and say, well, it's just another hypothesis. Thank you very much. I'm hacking up along over here. But Dolly does make a good point with this comment.
Oh, yeah. The amount of electromagnetic energy under that thing has messed with their brains.
Possible. Very possible. So
I think we don't know everything. And if that's her opinion, something must have led her that way. I don't know.
well,
I just find it very courageous for her to take a bold step like that and put that out there, because her credibility, her integrity, and her reputation is being questioned right now.
mhm.
And I feel that a lot of people that are probably opposing her,
Mhm.
I mean, in her field, not anybody in the chat room, not you.
Mhm.
I believe that a lot of it, just like most people, when you speak about paranormal, it's usually out of fear that they don't want to connect with you or know what your thoughts or opinions are or
Mhm.
findings.
Mhm.
You can show them evidence and they'll always find a way to dismiss it and debunk it. So,
Man,
yeah.
I believe I believe anything is possible. There were, like I say, there were a lot of people who did a lot of whistleblowing back in the day.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, we end up in situations where things are definitely coming forth, and people are like, you know what? This is a thing. This is really a thing. So if that's the case, we have to leave an open mind. But I always say, let's not go crazy with it either, because honestly, you can drive yourself crazy thinking that all of this stuff is actually happening. So
Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of research to
mhm,
compare everything against each other and keep looking for it, which I don't always have the patience for. So you have to be careful. But
mhm.
the big question to me is, why would she put it out there?
Well, Dolly's theory, false flags.
The control over people's lives is staggering now. False flags no works. That's a possibility as well.
It is. It really is.
Huge
Very, very
possibility.
possible.
We're living in really uncertain times and
Mm.
very strange.
Mhm.
Um,
I agree. I absolutely agree. Sorry, I'm
yeah,
just looking
we're
here.
living in a time where the rules don't apply to
Mhm.
certain people.
Mhm. Um, we actually spoke. We did a show with
Yeah,
Matt Rosk
you
from
did.
Cultivate Elevate a couple times, but I believe the last show was on Tartaria.
Tartaria. Yeah.
And right now we have the Toronto exhibition going on. I'll show you an example of Tartaria that's still going on. So 1 second. Hold on. I can't do it on this one. I have to do it on this one here. 1 minute. I will show you. I will show you. Okay. The E.
Yeah, he has a TikTok account and he is quite amazing to watch. He often has to restart. He gets shut down a lot.
1 minute here. Okay, so the CNE. Okay. We're going to go here. We're going to go images. And I want to look for one thing specifically. Hold on. Because this is, the idea of Tartaria and looking at all of the old world fairs and how things went up really quick and then things came down really quick. And there was such a strong belief because Nikola Tesla was very involved with some of this stuff. And they had one of the world fairs. We talked about this with Matt, how they had something like hundreds or thousands of light bulbs that weren't plugged into anything, free energy. And
That's a no-no.
it gets crazy. It gets crazy,
Yeah.
right? Like, so this is a whole lot involved with that. And I was actually thinking that we'll do a show on it at some point again, but in more detail. But here's the Canadian exhibition, National Exhibition, is going on right now in Toronto. And here is an example of Tartarian right there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, well, these are just different pictures. This is the entrance
Yep.
to the CNE. As you can see, here's an old black and white, right? And it's all still here. This is current. This is all current stuff right here.
We'll drive
They
through it on
left
the
it.
other side in Jameson.
See?
There's another one.
See right here, 1879,
Yeah.
right here, 1927. And it's all still here to see. There's the angels that you see so often depicted. And I think it's wonderful that we didn't take it all down.
No, and there's stuff in Ottawa as well, which is really interesting because they're making housing with all this federal land, and there's buildings there that have been there since 1800s. If you ever get to, ever tour Toronto, right now is a really bad time to be there, but if you ever get to tour Toronto, I highly recommend that if you're intuitive by any sorts, you can read energy, lean against it. Just lean against it and touch it. Be silent with yourself. Nobody's going to think you're crazy because I'm from there. There's all kinds of crazy people down there. So no one's going to even bat an eye to see you do this. and just close your eyes and just take it in. If you're
Mhm.
intuitive, you will pick up images
Yeah,
and
I mean,
words. Yeah.
you don't go like right now where there's like all these people, like, like
No.
millions of people.
Go when it's closed.
But we do have, I mean, this is probably, as far as I know, I don't know if we have this anywhere else, but I know Toronto still has this. And I know they're also talking about doing something with the land there. Now, there are other buildings on the CNE grounds, really old buildings that are also, they were part of the exhibition when it opened, and they are still there. In
Oh,
fact, one
it's
of
very haunted.
our medieval times, that's in one of these old buildings. Like, we left our buildings and we did not take them all down. And
No.
because of the fact that the CNE, the exhibition, has been ongoing year after year since 1879. So I'm pretty sure that's why we still
Hey,
have it all.
opened up after the Chicago World Fair. Came about years
Exactly.
later.
They had
Not
them
that much
everywhere.
longer, but yeah.
But
But
the
that I
fact
believe
is
was
we're
the
one of the
very
few that still has it year after year, going on probably like close to 200 years now.
yeah.
If you think about it, 1879, it's 150 years, 100,
It's
450 years. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
It's
how,
changed a lot, but
yeah.
it's
The
still
buildings
the
are all
crazy
there.
food place. The buildings are all there.
Yeah.
There is also a banquet center called Liberty Grand.
Yeah.
And that's an original building, and you can rent out the space for weddings and different
Mhm.
functions.
Mhm.
That's why I say, even if it's closed, you can drive through that gate. You
Mhm.
can't drive through it when it's open, because the
Mhm.
gates to I call it the X is right there. But yeah, Liberty Grand is also one of those old buildings. Um, how old is Casa Loma?
19, I think it was finished, it was built during World War I.
Okay. Wow. I was just curious.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And the Keg Mansion that used to belong to a politician before.
Mhm.
I can't remember who it was.
Well, a politician, it belonged to Henry Pellet, who
There
wasn't
we
not a
go.
politician.
No, Henry Pellet. That's right. Sir Henry
Yeah.
Pellet.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was thinking McLean. I got it all wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I love the buildings from Torture. I think they're so beautiful,
Mhm.
and it's really sad. I know Boston is also the same way. I've mentioned it before, where you have to keep the facade. You can only renovate the interior. You can't actually take the face of the building or the home off. They won't allow it in the city to keep that heritage.
Right.
That goes back a long time.
Well, I love the fact that it's still there, and I'm glad we got to touch on it a little bit. And I
Yeah.
do want to do a more in-depth show on Tartaria that goes back to the ancient origins of Tartarians and so on and so
Yeah.
forth, because there is so much, honestly,
Find
guys.
different
There is so
continents.
much, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
I would
Okay.
imagine in Europe they still have many. They don't take anything down there.
Well, I think that a lot of the whole conspiracy of everything is having it on this side of the world, because it's all linked to so many of the world fairs, which is, primarily here for the most part. Okay, so I'm going to talk about next. This was a request when we left off one of the last shows. We said, "Hey, what do you guys want to talk about?" The Grand Canyon was one. So, the
Hi,
Grand
Heidi.
Canyon and its Egypt connections.
Mm.
Okay, so we've got a couple, a few things on the list here, so we'll try to go through. So, um, oh, it gets funny with the Grand Canyon, and I can say, what I can say is this on it, that there was a discovery made And I know that in 1909, the Arizona Gazette released an article saying that ancient Egyptian artifacts were held within a cave in the Grand Canyon, and that it was discovered by an explorer, G.E. Kincaid, and that there was evidence of all of this. And of course, back in the day, it wasn't uncommon for a lot of these small newspapers or the newspaper of the day to really get involved, whether it was a hoax or not. They would just feed the frenzy. So a lot of people kind of went nowadays, people are saying, this is all a hoax. This is all a hoax. But yeah, sorry. We can get back to the other we can bounce back and forth when we're, I guess,
Yeah.
done with everything, no problem. But so essentially, this is what I think Brad Olson was telling us when he was on the show one time, and we were talking about the Grand Canyon. So all of this right now is being slammed as being, no, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. There is no evidence because we're not allowed near it. Now let's ask ourselves, why are we not allowed near it? Because it is under the control of the U.S. military.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and why?
That's what I would say.
But why?
I mean, I can understand if it's it's for your safety. You're not really allowed to go anywhere you want in the Grand Canyon for the most part, but you are allowed to go, to a whole lot of different places within the Grand Canyon. Some people have taken drones and have kind of come up really close to said entrance, and some curiosities. And there have been people who have walked up to this point close enough to get towards the entrance and have been met by a soldier armed saying, you cannot go any further. Well, why not? The guy asks. Because it is a property of the United States. Right?
I was just pointing to that.
So
NASA
why
is in charge
why
of
I
it?
want to know? Because there are secrets there. Otherwise, why
They're everywhere. They're everywhere, I tell you.
I know. But no, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, people.
This is what we sound like when we're together. Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong. So, you have armed personnel, and I think it was a safety thing. They would just sort of cord it off or just make it inaccessible.
Yeah, right. That's why so many bones are found here.
I know. But, when you were met, it's kind of like going to Area 51 and being met by armed people. It's like security saying, no, you can't go there. And if NASA's in charge of it, why is NASA in charge of it? What is in there that is so important or monumental with information? I could tell you, we know that ancient Egyptians have made their way over. A lot of people don't realize that the Celts were in Egypt and that a good part of Scotland was Egyptian. Thank you to a daughter of a pharaoh who died there, who was named by her people, and they went by the name of Scotia. And they found her tomb fully loaded, whole 9 yards. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we know there was a crisscross because we know the Celts and the Jews. We know they made it to the New World. We know that, they came into South America. All kinds of people came into South America. The Vikings came into South America. We had the Spaniards, the Portuguese, Templars. It's all there long before Columbus and made their way up because they have found remnants of Aztec and Mayan civilizations as far as the northern part of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, man. They were all traveling everywhere. I don't think they were as limited. We don't give a lot of credit to the ancient people.
No,
because they're not as limited as we think they were. In fact, I think a lot of them are a heck of a lot more advanced than we are, or that we are at least allowed to know.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really important to read those books before they're taken off the shelves if they haven't already been. If you have an elder who knows their history or someone like Michelle who really knows their history, listen. Because in order to understand what's going on now and what will happen, you really do need to know about the past, which is why these things are kind of, here's another conspiracy theory. But, maybe that's why we're seeing these books fly off the shelves. You know, things change, and then out of sight, out of mind, right? They
Mhm.
proved that smoking cigarettes, when you put the cover on them, it was proven statistically there was less people smoking. But
Mhm.
is that the same with our books, with our literature?
Mm. Nothing like a good hard book. If you don't think you're going to read it now, you may very well
When I
read
saw
it
the
down the road.
list that was floating around the US, when I saw that list, I bought every book on there that I didn't already own,
Mm.
because we don't have them. They're not removed from our shelves in
Mhm.
Canada. So you can still get these books. But
Mhm.
I saw the list that was going around for the school boards, and I just went and tick, 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 tick. I've got those. I need to order all of these.
Mhm.
And I got them. If you
Mhm.
can find them hardcover and you can find them from antique bookshops, even better, because then you know there's no Mandela effect. There's no
Mm.
interruption of a story or a change.
Mm.
There's none of that to be concerned about.
Mm.
So,
Um,
ooh, you get me going on that one. You
this
want me?
this this comment here, Chris Allen, um, they put them in the ocean. The Smithsonian dumped tons of bones of giants
Why though?
into the ocean. Well, wow.
Well,
Why?
don't tell me storage, because the Vatican has 54 miles of storage. So don't tell me it's storage, because we all know there's underground all kinds of stuff.
Well,
So did they for
because
sure?
they destroyed them. They put them in the ocean. They didn't. There's this stuff. It's like trying to suppress. Is it trying to suppress our history? I don't know. I mean, we're
Maybe they were
conditioned
trying
to
to
learn certain
eliminate a
things,
race.
but after a while, the Earth gives up her secrets, right?
So do we
You
know
have
for
you have an
sure?
ice age that goes through and wipes out a whole bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
and now
You've
you've
got
got dino bones in the
wow,
Royal
or
Ontario
giant
Museum.
bones, or who knows? But I
Eggs.
mean, this stuff happens. It does. It
Yes.
happens.
We
So
have the mammoth. We have the Neanderthal. We have the nomad. We have all of those.
there's a lot
The
of
sea
stuff.
does dissolve bones. That's a problem. But what I'm asking is, do we know for sure, positively, that they did dump them? Is there any
Apparently,
evidence that they were dumped?
apparently there's documentation on this. So apparently there is,
Yeah.
right? And what Dolly says makes perfect sense.
They
Salt, right?
dissolve. Salt dissolves. Yes, because
Right.
otherwise we would have found all the victims of the Titanic now. So yeah,
Well,
it
that's
dissolves a
pressure
lot of
too,
stuff.
though. That's pressure too,
It
though. You
is
go down to the
pressure.
part and you go, that's
How
it.
far did they go? Where did they dump it? Do we know the
Two and a
dumping
half
site?
miles. 2.5 miles down.
Bastards.
I know.
Those
Yeah.
bastards. I
Yeah.
just gotta wonder if everybody complied or if somebody took something. I feel like something was left behind. And I don't feel like it's what we think,
Sometimes things are hidden in plain sight
right?
also.
Like
Just
in the back of the Smithsonian in the walls.
right. So you don't know. You don't know. But okay, so we're
You
we're
do, or
over
you stop
that.
looking for them. That's a good point.
We're over that. So
Yeah.
okay, next, really hot off the presses. Everybody's talking about Luis Elizondo, and his newly released book, Imminent. Okay, and this is a really big deal because he's the former. Is it the form? I'm going to read to you right now. It's on the #1 New York Times bestseller, USA Today bestseller, Sunday Times bestseller. So he's a former senior intelligence official and special agent who was recruited into strange and highly sensitive U.S. government program to investigate UAPs. I'm just reading you guys the Amazon write-up, okay? So to accomplish his mission, Elizondo had to rely on decades of experience gained working some of America's most classified programs. Even then, he was not prepared for what he would learn, including the truth about the government's long, shadowy involvement in UAP investigation and the lengths officials would go to keep it a secret. So for years, he and his colleagues found themselves on the front lines of what may be the greatest mystery cover-up in history. identified craft that seem to defy our knowledge of physics within air, water, and space have been operating with complete immunity since at least World War II, which we know. They're okay. Get me started on that, going back to World War II and the Nazis and their experiments and the Nazi bell. And there's a lot there. Okay, let's talk about how when everybody ended the war, how many Nazi German scientists were brought over to the United States. Okay. Now we don't want to talk about, we can talk about Antarctica and all that stuff there. Holy crud. There's so much. It's a whole show in itself. So anyway, getting back to this. Now, the military, the CIA, and even past presidents have known the truth that humanity is in fact not the only intelligent life in the universe. The non-human intelligence controlling these UAPs are actively conducting surveillance on our most sensitive military installation and have interfered with ongoing military nuclear operations, which we've talked about before. U.S. service members and intelligence officers have encountered them, have sustained serious medical injuries. And all of this is happening worldwide. So let me see if I can bring up a picture of the book. Okay, hold on. I'm going to bring this up for you guys to see. And this is from Amazon. So I'll give credit to whatever we are bringing up here. So this is it right here. This is the book you're looking for. And right now he is like totally all over the place with stuff, right? And hold on right here. Gray's Design Nordics to imminent threats. I don't know. Do you think?
Really?
I don't know. See, like this is something.
Why it's called
Right.
paranormal.
Yeah, she's saying false flag. Again, anything's possible, but this guy made it on the #1 bestseller. So whatever the case may be, he's off to a good start. He's on a lot of the big platforms. He's very well respected in his field as well.
It's a lot harder to take out whistleblowers nowadays. There's cameras everywhere. So it's not like they would try to kill him. He must have been telling the truth. Right?
Yeah. It's a big deal, right? So I mean, yeah, false flag. If that's the case, they definitely are going to make sure
I don't know, but
it gets put out everywhere. I don't know.
I don't know. See, and I wonder. I mean, I respect your opinion, Dolly, on false flag, and yeah, it's highly possible. But I also wonder if they just want you to think that, and he is real. So I think you have to purchase the book and read it and figure it out for yourself. I don't want to look at everything that comes at me in plain sight, hidden in plain sight, and dismiss it by accident, you know, or because I don't want to. I don't know. I have to disagree. No. I have to read the book to understand what my opinion is and how I feel about it intuitively as well. I just think that sometimes things are right in our face and we're so conditioned to believe that it's all BS and people are just trying to write a book or just trying to make a buck. I mean, we could say that about anybody who's penned a book. So I think it's important to really open up to him. And I know we're in the middle of serious stuff. I understand that, but that's why I think we shouldn't ignore everybody's story. I think it's important to read everything and, you know, decide what is real to you. You know, there's a lot of stuff that came out in this last year that people stomped up and down and protested and treated people like crap just a few years ago. You know, saying that no, you're wrong, and it's all coming out now that they were right. And I'm not going to talk about what it is because I don't want to get yanked. But it's just because it's out there doesn't mean it's fake, and just because it's out there it doesn't mean it's real. That's all I'm trying to say, is to be fair to him, because Tesla, a lot of people didn't believe him either. You know, so I have an issue with that too. And just recently, 2 people were murdered suspiciously off the coast of Sicily, and I won't go on any more
No.
of that. And you can look into that yourself. And you might say, holy crap, he was right.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, it gets funky. But staying on to the whole, CIA thing, we'll put up, hold on, Wayne's comment, then I'll go to the next.
And not all
We'll
truth
link to
is
something
backed
else.
up by science, because it wasn't years ago, just not long ago. That
Mhm.
hasn't been backed up. Anyways, Wayne says the way government works, especially the military side of government, if they didn't want that info out there, it would be removed one way or another. But if
Mhm.
the narrative suits the government, it's allowed. I believe that as well.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it really is.
I just
So-
like to look at the other side of, well, what if they can't do anything about it?
Yeah.
Because he's so well protected. Now there's I don't know. Again, I don't know. That's why we're having this show.
Like, hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. I had the same conversation with a friend today, except it was about Santa Claus. It's kind of the same thing, keeping an open mind. Santa is real.
Well, you just wait till I dig out all the creepy Santa stuff for Christmas.
Santa's real.
Creepy Santa's even more real.
Santa's real, and
I'm not
Santa's
talking Krampus either. So
yeah.
Okay, so here's an article I came across. I'll share with you guys by Infinity Explorers. I love these guys. They come up with interesting stuff. And it says a CIA document states aliens destroyed Russian troops through Sodom and Gomorrah type weapon in the 1990s. So I'm going to bring this up so you guys can see for yourself. I'm not just pulling this out of my ear. So, okay, here we go. This is here it is. Okay. So I'm going to read it along as we go. I'll just skip it over. So basically, they have a document. The source article from March 27, 1993, CIA briefing states that the incident is based on a 250-page file obtained by the intelligence agency shortly after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, which occurred under Mikhail Gorbachev in 1991. Defeat, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so according to materials captured by the then KGB, the fight between Russian troops and alien creatures began when a low-flying UFO appeared in the middle of a routine military training exercise. An apparent unexpected surveillance by a UFO caused one of the soldiers to recklessly launch a surface-to-air missile that hit the object, bringing it down not far from where they were gathered. So angry and vengeful aliens used Sodom and Gomorrah weapon. The crew survived this earthling attack. Russian soldiers watched in horror as 5 humanoid creatures with large heads, large black eyes emerged from the downed ship. And here's a copy of the document right here.
Wow.
So this is a
Very
document.
little redaction.
Yeah. So this apparently is a thing. So I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me like if they were on a peaceful reconnaissance, Buddy who let go, started shooting at it by accident may have caused all of this. I don't think that necessarily, it doesn't look like they started it, kind of thing. But that's what we talk about on open mic. We just share information. I always researching. I'm always looking for stuff. And I thought it was fairly interesting to see this, that there is this article. And a lot of, just so you guys know, a lot of really amazing articles can be found in the FBI vaults. And the really old articles too. And it does talk about Nikola Tesla being Venusian. Just saying. That's again, that's a whole other show in itself. But anyway, so thanks to infinityexplorers.com for that one, since we borrowed it from them. So okay. So next. This one here is also, again, all right. We're going to have people of faith who are really excited about this, and there's controversial stuff around it. But now in the world of AI can do amazing things. But let's ask this: does AI, are they taking information from what's already out there, or is this something that they're just creating themselves. So, of course, and I'm going to mention the whole conspiracy thing here as well before I just go ahead and I'll show some pictures because I'm going to link it to something else that is pretty amazing. Okay. So I'm talking, of course, about the Shroud of Turin with x-rays that have recently been done that's authenticated it. And of course, a small piece from the edge was a piece of DNA from an old medieval repair. Okay, makes sense. The thing is like ancient, so it would definitely have gone most likely through a repair here or there. And I'll have pictures too here. So, but information somewhat surfaced and goes back to Leonardo da Vinci. So it was claimed that the shroud was actually the very first photograph of modern history at the time, that a deal was made with the Vatican and the Knights Templar. He was researching using camera obscuras, experimenting with reverse imaging, things like that. He was an alchemist as well. He delved in alchemy. The man was brilliant. Okay. So it's all believed that this was part of it. He had a little lab office space, which was located in the basement of the Vatican. So right there it tells you the Vatican's got stuff that we are never going to hear about. And
54 miles of it.
Yeah. And I'm going to spin off of this with something else in a moment. So anyway, with that being said, they're saying that it was not the image of Christ, that they used the body came out of a morgue because they knew there'd be no motion, because it took a long time to do the process. You couldn't do it with a live person because it would move around. But apparently it took a while to transfer this image. But apparently Leonardo was said to have used his own face to do this with the conjunction of the Vatican, who had knowledge of it. And apparently, allegedly, historians knew about this. So I was thinking, don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. It's just my job, right, as a host on open mic nights, to bring different theories, and we all talk about it, so on and so forth. Do I believe it's real? I do believe it's real. I think that there's always going to be controversial around religious relics. I think there's always going to be that.
I could see why. Looking at him, I could see why. But he has a different nose.
He does, and
his nose is pointy, which is.
I'm going to put a picture up. 1 second.
Yeah.
We're going to put, this is the AI generated.
I was trying to remember because I did go to his, he doesn't look anything like.
No, there's a big difference between how the two guys look. Okay.
No. So, if there was some similarity, I'd give it. And I am Catholic, and I would say, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's a different photo. And then as he gets older, and there are portraits. I mean, he drew himself. Yeah.
So I look at this image, and I'm going to show a couple more images as well. So Christ's nose was broken. So let's just try to bring this up a little bit here.
Yeah, and Da Vinci's got a very pointy nose.
See, that looks broken to me.
I think it's the lighting. I'd have to see another picture. Yeah, I think it's just the photograph.
Well, this is AI generated. So I have to ask, does AI, because this is our image of
Christ.
That's
a lot of shadow.
This is what we I think grew up with it. This is the face of Christ, is with most of us.
Christ wasn't white though. Why do they keep making him white?
And this is what I say with I agree with Alan. Why are we trusting AI to do this?
I don't.
Exactly. And do they take images? Does AI take images through this image bank, or is it just doing it on its own?
Is that supposed to be Jesus? Looks a lot like Russell Brand. I'm just saying. And he just converted.
So
sorry. I had to. It's hard to, because I think AI also is programmed with an opinion.
Right.
So for me, it doesn't look like any of Leonardo's sketches. And when you see portraits of him, his
Mhm.
nose is not broken.
Okay, hold on here. I want to just bring in another picture. So
Jesus
give
would have
me,
had a lot of fractures on his face.
yeah. Okay,
He would have
hold
had
on.
many fractures.
Okay, I'm sending myself another picture to share with you guys, and I'll tell you where I'm going with it in one moment here. Okay, so I have talked about this. Um, I've talked about this on other shows, and I want to make mention of it here because I think just because there's images and talking about stuff that the Vatican knew about. Okay. So I'm going to talk about a device called the chronovisor. Now, this is something that scientists who were affiliated with the Vatican designed back in the 80s, not so long ago. Okay. And it was a technology that was shared, only very few people knew about it. Okay. So there's not a lot of information on this thing, but essentially the idea was okay, like the scientists were called Ernetti, I believe it was Ernetti. I can't remember who the other one was. But I'll read you the article. Ernetti also claimed to have seen the Roman poet with this device. It could go back into the past, and in the future, it could, it's believed that because it could go in the past, that they could alter the future. And there's actually an organization out called Guardians of the Looking Glass that are out. You'll hear Frank Jacob talking about this. This stuff is rampant. It's all because of the chronovisor. Okay. So he claimed that he went back in time and he got photos of this Quintus Aeneas, Jesus Christ. Okay. And honestly, I don't know. But the thing is in the possession of the Vatican.
Do you
Okay.
think Gates went back in time?
I don't know, but I'm gonna show some photos. let me get this one up here. Okay, hold on.
Like, hey,
Okay.
I'll
So
build this Microsoft and I'm going to be a multi-billionaire.
so there was the person who posted this says, I have no idea if this is true or not, but a priest claims it's a photo of a man known as Jesus, Yeshua ben Joseph, taken with a chronovisor, which photos could be taken of the past and the future. So I'm just going to bring this over and you guys can decide. So there's two depictions of Jesus, and it appears to be, I mean, it looks pretty darn accurate, but I don't know. So let me just put this up. And this is not AI. Is it Photoshop? I don't know. There's a lot of information out there in bits and pieces though. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Let me just bring this up. The chronovisor. So that's what you guys have to look up is the chronovisor. So I don't know.
No.
I mean, this looks like a young Jesus, and it sure looks similar to the face that we just saw.
Well, if he is, I mean, if Jesus isn't just a prophet and
past and
a
future,
carpenter, yeah, it would be very simple for him.
So I don't know. And this
I mean,
is,
he's all being, all one, right? With whatever source, or you call it God, or you call it source, or the universe.
yeah.
Why wouldn't he be able to go back and forth in time? It's his.
Yep. So I know
Yeah.
the guy's as white as the driven snow. So this
Wouldn't he look
this
different though? Wouldn't he use a different look?
Yeah. I'm just saying, this is just a very interesting thing to me because there's a really big movement based on this device because apparently it's not overly hard to make because it was recreated. But it's just a matter of, I'm bringing it up because of the fact that there is the whole thing going on about all of this.
AI needs to step back.
I'm not big. I know. I'm not big on AI at all. It scares the crap out of me, and I don't frighten easily, believe me. But that scares the crap out of me.
I think it scares the crap out of us. Sorry.
No, I say if this is the image of Jesus on the shroud, it's very compelling. If it is, right? So we have a lot of faithful people out there going, "This is it. This is it," and this is the depiction of what we're used to, what we all grew up seeing him as. So it's technology can be amazing. I just wish. I mean, this is with an X-ray that was done that showed this is valid. So I don't know. Is that?
Wow.
Wow. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just frozen.
I was going to say, yes, I am
But we can
frozen.
hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll come back. Say hi.
Don't. Oh, that sounded so great. Don't say it like that. We don't want her gone. There she is. She's back. She's back. She'll come back. She can't leave me here. She cannot leave me here. There you. Okay, you good. Your voice is on. Just the camera we don't have.
Well, hold on. I'm just going to actually leave and come back.
Okay, so Musk on online on X, he has stated that he has some fear with AI as well, and he wants to make it better. He's looking into it. Yay!
Magic.
I was just saying to everyone that on X, Musk has stated that AI is very dangerous and that we should fear it, and he's trying to develop a way to, I guess, almost not censor it, but make a safe place. But then can we believe him too? See, there's a lot of I don't knows in this episode of Open Mic.
Stephen Hawking said the same thing.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want us communicating with anything.
No.
Musk is very worried. Yes, Dolly, very worried. He posts constantly. And it's hard for me because I do see him as a very compassionate human being who really does stand by his word because he believes in free speech, and he has fought countries to give their people free speech, and he doesn't care. Put laws on it. Yes. But again, we go back to the powers that be that don't follow any laws. So yeah, it's tough. I believe that AI in the hands of the wrong person is going to be the end of this planet. Those are just my thoughts.
And on that thought, what we're going to do is sponsor and station ID.
Yeah, I use Grok, David. Thank you. Yes. Oh, it's already that time? You're kidding me. Oh my goodness. It's just so much fun. Well, everybody, you're listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans on 107.7 FM, as well as on the Gulf Coast on 105.3 FM radio. We're live on Roku TV, Rumble, YouTube, X, and sometimes X, and Facebook group pages. Listen to us on Alexa Prime and approximately 250 streaming platforms. Don't tell me you can't find us. Our guest tonight is us and you. It's open mic night. Highly, highly, highly. It's always requested. Everybody loves the show. We love the show. We love being able to interact with you. And now, of course, for the giant gratitude moment, which is just, and we are so proud. Thank you, Folgers Coffee, from our very first episode with UPRN. We thank you for your continued support with sponsoring our show, and we absolutely love you. Our banner and promo media is courtesy of Steve McGinnis. He's a horror illustrator and an artist, but he also creates custom commissioned pieces. And you can find him on Facebook. Thank you so much, Steve. Our intro and outro is courtesy of Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, award-winning musician and composer. Sorry, and vocalist. I lost my scroll here. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp. Stream on any platform. Find Dr. Snick on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Justin. Lastly, my loves, are you watching this episode right now? Please give us a like, subscribe, smash that notifications button so you never miss a show. Kindly share us with your friends and family. Help us grow on social media so we can continue bringing you the best in their fields. Thank you.
And remember, whenever, for those who do follow, whenever we do a pre-recorded segment, which we have to do during the day, because we interview people from all over the world, different time zones. I usually will set the show up so it is live only on the Outer Realm YouTube channel. After that, it's a recording that goes live later on in our normal time frame for the show. But if you want to participate, if it's a show that you think you might be interested in and a guest you may want to interact with, then you could come in during the day and you could interact the same way as you would in the evening, because there is no interaction. There is no chat room at night. There's only the chat rooms, of course, during the recording, at which point you're going to usually communicate with myself because I try to be in there to hang with you guys. But it's just a little bit of a perk that we give for anybody who does subscribe and follow the channel. So, and we thank you for that, by the way. And we do answer, all of the comments and such. So if you have questions and so on, and if we can't answer it, we will put you in touch with the guest directly. So there we have it. So that's been pretty much a lot of the news that's gone on. So now this is the part of the show where you guys in the chat room can ask questions, or you want to talk about something specific, just put it out there and we will talk with you. We will answer whatever questions that we can. We will interact, find information, so on and so forth. So who's first? Who's first? I think I saw a comment up here earlier. Hold on. Where did that go? Hold on. Where'd it go? Okay. Here's one we can address. Christopher.
9 p.m., 12 a.m., and 3 a.m. is the time when most activity going on paranormally is happening.
Let's explore why that might be. I think they call it the witching hour, which is usually can be anywhere from 12 to 5, peaking at about 3. I think the world is quiet. We're probably in bed, or we're probably in relaxed mode. Our subconscious is wide open. Our mind is wide open. I think it's very possible that maybe that's why we might be more aware. Our perception is like right out there for me anyway, because I truly believe that when a place is haunted, it's haunted 24/7. I mean, Wayne and I had a haunted house that we lived in, and it was active all the time. You could go in there at 1:00 in the afternoon and the door would swing right open for you. But did things happen at night? Well, things were quiet at night, so we could hear walking around. We didn't have all the traffic going on. We didn't have all the air traffic. There's just a lot of stuff that, you don't hear that you would during the day. So we just notice things more. So also, if it's wintertime, things get a lot colder at night. And that just seems to dense up the air a little bit, dry things out. Static energy, right? In the summertime, I've worked with a lot of people through the years who've had things amp up in the summer. And I said, do you have air conditioning on? Because it wasn't so humid, and the static in the air just seemed to be able to help them move around a little bit more. And I'd say, I would always say, indulge me and turn the air off, even for a few hours, or give it a good amount of time, a day even, and see. And as things started to warm up, they felt that the activity lessened. So just a theory.
I have a different one, but of course I agree with Michelle, because I learned from the bus. I learned from her. What you will hear from exorcists, priests, and bishops is that demons will often do things in 3s. So whether it's 3 a.m., 3 knocks, 3 scratches, 3 lines, it's a mocking of the Holy Trinity according to the Catholic way of doing
So why
exorcism.
not 3 in the afternoon?
But they have done 3 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
You do have that in the right. It was a lot of 3, 6s, but I'm with Michelle on the sense that when no one's home and you're sitting at home during your day, during the day, and you don't have a television or a radio on, no music, nothing, you just listen. Whatever's happening at night is going to happen during the day. A lot of the experiences that I have, it doesn't matter what time of day. I mean, when Michelle and I have done where we're at location where, the few times that I got to do it with her right before the big C, it was during the day. The worst experience for me when I got locked on the staircase was during the day. It was in the middle of the bloody day. It was bright. So, I mean, that had to be the worst experience I had out of the 3 homes.
I was busy. I was booked up. 3 homes, 1 day.
Yeah, but that one was, for me, anyways, I was affected the most. Like, not out of all of us. I'm saying that one affected me the most. Sorry. I have to word that differently. The other ones were bad, but this one interrupted me walking up the stairs. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I believe in the witching hour. I believe that it's called that because, like you said, we're just quieter.
Very possible. I look at all different theories. I think as a researcher, you can't take everything at face value. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of good information out there. But you have to explore literally everything and see what you're left with. Next. Dun, dun, dun.
Do you think about crop circles, how they are created? We just talked about that, right? With
Crop
Dan?
circles. Oh,
Was it
boy.
Dan? Who was it? Can't remember.
No, but obviously, again, I have to maybe seek out somebody who would be, who specializes in working in crops, and I may actually know somebody who does.
Can we get Mel Gibson and
I know
and River Phoenix, or not River, Joaquin Phoenix? Can we get them on the show?
Yeah.
I would do anything to interview. Well, not anything. Nobody's listening for Joaquin Phoenix.
But I'll tell you, do I believe that some of them are man-made? For sure. But I can also state that my own feelings that they are from something out of this world. Is it from too many things have been seen, like crafts have been seen, orbs have been seen. Yes, I know the story of orbs. Anything can be an orb. Dust, pollen, moisture, pet dander. There's a lot of things. But when you've got an orb, a big solid orb, just floating over top of a field, and all of a sudden you're seeing an image show up literally overnight, massive things.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something more to it. Could this orb be something extraterrestrial, multidimensional? Possibly. Could it be that there's something that is working with the magnetics under the ground? Possibly. They're all really amazing possibilities, but there's definitely something that is more out of this world. The way they're done is different than what the fraudsters have done with the planchettes. It's different the way it all breaks and bends. So
they were saying there isn't a breakage in it when it's
right,
something otherworldly, but when it's human, you will have a breakage because of their weight. Sorry, my light, I have a floating head right now because the light behind me died. Floating talking head.
Okay, next. Here's a loaded question.
Dog Lego lover. What do people think of Stephen Greer? I don't know him personally.
I think, I don't know. I've seen some really interesting people come out and whistleblow and talk about what's out there and what we should be looking for. And, their lives have been ruined. And some people believe, a lot of these people have gone on to say, I quit, I won't talk about it. There are other people who have said,
They weren't paid
They're being
50,000.
they're being threatened. I don't know. Some people think he may be compromised. Some of these people end up being compromised. They just finally just give it up, But the Stephen who started and the Stephen who's with us now are two really different people. But, I've seen him break down in an interview, just in tears, because I've had death threats. And I mean, the threat is pretty real,
He's
right?
had them since the first document, since he
Oh,
first
yeah.
started.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
had
So
them.
who wants to
Yeah.
put themselves through that? It's crazy. But
It's tough because he does make a ton of money off of it. That's a hard one for me. I'm sure there's a lot of truth to it, and he does make a lot of sense. But this whole thing of CE5, that you have to be in a group and you have to pay him to have that experience, for me personally, my own opinion, no one else's, I think is BS. I don't think you need him to make that connection.
No, I think if you have a telepathic link. I mean, I've never done a CE5. I've just put it out there and there it was.
Yeah. I don't believe that you need him to do it or anyone else who promotes that on a hillside.
No,
I don't know.
If you're going for the experience, if you're skittish, I mean, you go through this whole meditation thing, you go out to certain areas. He teaches you how to do it. He's got an app for those who want to do it on their own. All I can say is for myself, I've just put it out there and it happened.
Yeah.
That's simple, So I don't know. But I mean, for someone who puts himself right out there in the line of fire, there's something to be said for it, because you do take a lot of chances when you put yourself out there.
It's not just ET with him. That first documentary was JFK, was Marilyn Monroe, was Ronald Reagan. It was all kinds of different things. So it makes you wonder, did you go with what was most popular from that documentary and continue 2 more? Or, was the intention always to hit it? The rest are all ET. But that first one is so much. And I keep questioning, my criminal mind keeps questioning, not he's a criminal, just the way I think. Why didn't he expand more on everything else in that first one? There was so much farther you could go with JFK. I mean, it just came out how the CIA is responsible, and RFK is looking. A lot of the reason why he's, switched sides is because he wants those files open about his father. So why didn't he go further on everything else? That's my only question. The dinosaurs, the Ice Age, the Noah's Ark, why not go farther and expand on that as well? I think that, I love that documentary. I could watch it over and over again. I do like him. He's very personable. He's very kind. He explains himself very well. He's a great speaker. I just feel that it's not truly him and the other two. I feel like there's something else there.
Good comment.
Okay. David Peace, One Love. Stephen Greer has been fully exposed to the military-industrial complex since Disclosure Project 9th of May 2001. Need to consider how difficult that position would be. I do. I really, really felt, I could feel his energy and his compassion and his fear in that first one. I just have a hard time with the last one. That's just my opinion.
Why?
That's all. It's not, I just feel like he didn't represent himself the same way he did with the first one. I felt like the first one was more real. Not saying that it's not real, 2 and 3. I'm just saying it's a little more scripted and catered to, actually not in the way he represents. Catered to, I don't know, maybe the audience, maybe somebody else is controlling this project. I believe his intentions are good, and that he started out like every celebrity in a good way, but I just don't know. I don't know him personally. I would have to sit down and talk to him. I can't just make a judgment. I'm just giving a loose opinion that could change at any time. It's not something I'm going to I'm going to stick to, if I had met him or I'd been able to speak to him, I'd be able to really see that. But it's really hard to see people for who they really are. When you film, you have what's called an editor, and you have what's also called no creative control. So I don't know if he was just depicted that way, or if they moved that around, or is that really him? He'd have to answer that question.
Okay, next.
Michelle Plummer, hello. Do you have any thoughts on Colonel Randy Kramer and his messages for us and his extraordinary life stories? I find him fascinating.
Well, I think you'd have to be a big believer in exopolitics. I know that Randy is a colleague of the guests that we've had on. I'm just Leslie Mitchell Clark.
Yes, love her.
Yeah, she's a doll, and Randy is one of her colleagues, and they've just done a UFO symposium, I believe, last summer in Toronto. So, with that being said, if you believe in the whole exopolitic thing and believe that he was a super soldier, or that he is in this secret space program, I don't know.
Oh, Michelle went.
I went to it. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, excellent.
Perfect. Yeah. So I think to myself that it's very, very possible that it all exists. There's a lot of people saying, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But I believe that we're so far behind. Well, not technology. I believe they're 100 years ahead, more ahead than what they're letting us believe, But I mean, I don't know, because I just don't know enough about it. We should just ask him to come on the show and talk about it. Really, it might be the best thing to do, So some people, some people agree with the whole exopolitic things. Other people do not believe with it at all, or believe in it at all. So I don't know. I really don't know at that point. So I can't give an honest answer, unfortunately.
Just okay.
Okay, so here's another one.
David, again, there was another event that occurred in October or November 2013 that was scrubbed from the internet. I think there's a lot of them scrubbed. It was in Washington, D.C., further development of Disclosure Project. Hard to tell when so much is censored. I absolutely agree with you. That's why I can't come to a definitive opinion or comment with him, because again, we're only seeing what they want us to see, or what he wants us to see. And I doubt it's him who has creative control. Remember, those documentaries, as much as they're documentaries, is still somebody producing, somebody directing, somebody who's making money from you watching it. So it's still entertainment.
All I could say is this. I think that it's a big world. I think people have been screaming for disclosure for quite a while. In fact, let me just look at this date here, because we have had Stephen Bassett on once before, and he is Mr. Disclosure. He's got the big events that go on, and he is the PRG, which is the, hold on here, let me get this, the upcoming piece, social media. I'm just trying to see full on UAP disclosure, and he has been fighting and been an advocate for this for so long. And it's a Paradigm Research Group. That's what I was looking for. And he's an activist for this sort of thing. And he's going to be on the show, for those of you who are interested, September, and it's going to be the 25th. So he's traveling until then, and is excited to come on. So when we got his email, it was like, yes, Stephen Bassett. So there is a big push for disclosure when it comes to UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrial life, multidimensional, interdimensional, contact. It's out there. We know it's out there. So I think at this point, it's a matter of what's real, what's not real. Are we dealing with how much misinformation, how many false flags? There's a whole lot there. We have camera phones now. Everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a camera. You can
Yeah.
capture things, you can get information. I mean, the things listen to you, for God's sake. So, they're listening. The phones are listening as well, right? So I think we just have to maybe we have to put the onus on us. Maybe we're the ones that need to open our minds and just, if it's out there, open ourselves up and say, okay, let's be receptive to it. Let's maybe not fear it, and let's just see what comes of it, because maybe we're missing stuff.
Excuse me. Yeah.
We
And it's
want the
drying us up.
government to disclose, but do we need them to? At the end of the day, if you have your own experience, you've had your experience. So I don't know. Okay. Here's actually a good question.
Ellen, why can't we get a good picture of Bigfoot with all this
I
technology?
think they actually are.
Yeah, I just believe that the government's held on to them.
ISIS had pictures. I'm going to post some pictures. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find these pictures. If I can find them, I'll post them. And you guys tell me what you think. Now, when Mount St. Helens erupted, there were witnesses who saw, while I'm looking for pictures here, there were witnesses who saw military helicopters flying overhead with what they said and they believed were the bodies of Bigfoot. Okay, so think about how far back that went. And I'm going to just look here real quick because this has happened again recently. Okay, so I'm just going to grab these two, send them to myself so I can put them up here. Okay, and again, I just found these. They just came up in my feed. People will tag me in things to go and have a look, and I'll have a look.
Good night, Bill. Thank you
Okay.
for dropping in.
Good night, Bill. Yes, come back. Come back again. Oh, okay. So hold on. All right. I'm going to put this one up, and I'm going to put. Actually, I don't even have to put the second one up because we could just enlarge this. So this is a picture that is currently surfacing or has surfaced. I'm going to put it up, and you guys just tell me what you think. But there are pictures that are definitely surfacing, slowly but surely. Okay. Thoughts? Are we looking at a regular primate? Are we looking at
Why is it in
an
the sky?
orangutan, a chimpanzee?
Why
Well,
is
it's big, but how far
No.
away is this thing?
Why is it in the sky?
Well, they're carrying it off. This is what happened during Mount
Oh,
St.
I
Helens.
can't see that.
See, yeah, there's this like helicopter up here, right?
That's hard because of the color.
So this is something that has also surfaced. But if you're looking at something from a distance, this could be like a regular primate. This could be a chimpanzee. This could be an orangutan. It's got like similar builds.
Yeah, it does. It's hard because you can't get the perspective of the size, and you don't know how far off when you're taking the picture from below. If that was military moving one, it would have shot the person underneath.
No, exactly.
They would have killed that person taking that photo. I like Wayne's comment.
It got sent to me. I shared it all.
I love it. I think it's important to,
There it is. There it is. Wayne's thoughts on Bigfoot.
Wayne says, I've heard that Bigfoot actually functions on a higher dimensional frequency that operates several seconds ahead of our dimension. They are aware of us being there before we even see them. I agree. And I also believe that they can like chameleon, like Predator, right? If they get caught off guard. Wish I could do that at home. And then they'd have to make their own dinner.
Me too. Wouldn't that just be grand? So that picture's not clear. Yeah, Dolly thinks it may be a video, not a still. But somebody.
Yeah, it didn't look like a still. Yeah. I have to agree with that. Hi, Jessica.
Yeah.
I
don't know. We just
That was
tear it
a
up. That's
tough
all we do.
one.
Yeah.
Insect, I don't know. I don't know, Alan, because a
It look
Chinook will look like that from
Mhm.
underneath. It has two propellers, so it does have that awkward insect, and you're underneath the plane. And if that's video, it's a blur. There's no
Yeah.
definitive line.
And I agree. I agree with this
Yeah.
comment. Me too. I'd like to see that as well.
I
But
would like to see more images. I believe that I honestly believe that people who I want to go back to the early 1900s
Mhm.
when cameras became maybe more towards the 30s, where people more in the family would have a camera, or
Mhm.
um I believe that people submitted these photographs, if they did capture a photo, to either law enforcement or bureaus, government agencies, and
Mhm.
they were kept. And I do believe that there are many photos that the government has captured
Mhm.
and has them in a
Mhm.
secret place as well, And don't be
Mhm.
surprised if they're at the Vatican, just saying.
Mhm.
Don't be surprised if it ended up there. You think about a 54-mile long, we don't know how wide it is,
Mhm.
um, storage at temperature controlled with ancient scripts, scrolls. The sea scrolls are supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Gospels of the Bible. Think about how long
Well,
it takes to go from one end to the other.
the Dead Sea Scrolls is an example. I mean, that they're
Yeah.
out, unless they have others. But you know what I found interesting? Mark Ollie and I, our Thursday guest, I believe it was from last week, said something very, very interesting. There are so many things out there. He used the um, the example of Noah from Noah's Ark,
Hmm.
and it landed in Turkey. They've
Hmm.
they've tested it. They've done ground penetrating radar. They have found artifacts. They
And
know
sonar
this is
inside.
it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And Noah and his family ended up buried in a neighboring village. Now, there was an archaeologist who is known for he found a version of the Ark of the Covenant, and I've showed a picture of this on the show before, probably a couple of times, when he was doing an excavation in Israel,
Hmm.
and there's photos of him. You can go see this. This was not like a million years ago. There's black and white photos of this man, and he's underground, and you can see what looks like this ark almost just like on an angle, half buried. And when he
Hmm.
brought it to the attention of the authorities, they shut down the excavation and they sealed up the hole. You could not get back in. This same guy allegedly found he caught wind of where this thing was, and he found the graves of Noah and his wife. They were ransacked, and
Hmm.
all the bones disappeared. With this being said,
Psychopath.
the Vatican hides things, absolutely. But is there information that maybe just shouldn't be put out there for the safety and the protection and integrity of what it is?
Well, I think anytime you're dealing with somebody's corpse, I think it's horrendous is
Well,
to
bones, I mean,
I mean, I get the bones because I know there are a lot of bones at the Vatican, and that the Catholic Church does take chips
sure.
of saints and put them in the churches that are named after them. I
Mhm.
mean,
He found it, went
St.
public, that
Peter
was
is
it,
buried at the basilica,
for
so I
sure.
understand that. I mean, my great grandfather's buried at the foot of the Pisa Tower. Like, there's things I understand from history and the times. You have to go back and see what their rituals were like, what their ceremonies were like. There are many bones in the Vatican, but I think with Noah's Ark, they could go two ways, right? It could go like, no, it's bull, it's not the whole story. Like, there was
Mhm.
a Noah, there was an ark. I mean, they have proven that they found hairs and they did the DNA on the hairs, and they
Oh,
have
they
found
found
male and female.
utensils, bowls,
They've
everything.
done
They found
everything.
lots there.
Stuck,
Yeah.
they drilled a hole, they stuck in
Mhm.
a sonar. That's how they pulled things out, because they can't take the ark out without damaging it. And that's
Mhm.
not something that I think the Turkish government's going to let them do anyways. It's
Oh, no,
theirs
the site is no, it's there's a lot of different locations that Turkey's very good that way. Like there's a whole other thing that we talked about on that show. You guys will have to
Yeah.
go watch it. But they've just cut off excavation altogether.
They
But
have to, because it's still, if it is what it is, it's a holy relic and it's
it would be.
massive.
It would be.
So, yeah.
Another good comment here, jumping back over to Bigfoot before
Sure.
we sign off.
Sun Dragon, hello. Never have I ever heard of Bigfoot bones or remains. When
Mhm.
they die, do they just poof vanish?
Maybe. Maybe
we
they
don't know.
hide their own, maybe they bury their own, maybe they carry them off. Maybe they're, because they're not always solitary. So
No. What if Noah was ET and Janae? That's a possibility as
no,
well.
they have it. They have the DNA now for sure.
Yeah.
It would be curious to see if they've actually tested.
Don't you love how they said it was ransacked? It was probably a government
They took
official.
everything. Yeah, they took
Yeah.
everything once it was discovered. It was just crazy.
I think sometimes, we can look at it two ways. We can look at it and say, oh, they don't want us to know the truth. But we could also look at it that we can't handle it and that it would create perhaps wars amongst, different countries, religions, whatever. Like it could be preventative as well. It doesn't mean that they're hiding something from us. It could be protecting us as well. There's two perspectives on that. But we'll never know, because unless you are security clearance level to be under that church for 54 miles, and I don't think any one person has it. I think they have sections, because they're not allowed to talk to each other about it. Not one person can know everything.
No?
No, I mean in the Vatican, like in that vault.
No, for sure.
And that vault is a freaking mess. I've seen photographs of it. It doesn't look anything like the movie. That's all I'm saying.
And with that said,
the movie was so pretty.
We are at the end of the show. It goes by so fast, but honestly, it's a hoot hanging out with all of you guys. It's just been a lot of fun. Mind you, our open mic nights are always a lot of fun because we interact with the chat room, and it's not something we often get to do when we have guests on. So thank you guys all for joining us in the chat room with your questions and your comments and your assistance, Kathy. I have fired that off to you in an email, by the way. So you'll have the Annabelle link. Now, Wednesday night.
I need that link.
I've sent it.
Oh, thank you.
Wednesday night, we welcome Kevin Estrella back. If you guys recall, he was in at the end of August with so many tech issues, to which he said, by the way, has never happened to him before. So, but anyway, he's going to be talking about his research and study of extraterrestrials, his calling, how it led him down this incredible journey of discovery, and his UFO and ET experiences. And boy, the audience was just hanging on what he was saying as he was cutting in and out and dropping out. So hopefully this is not going to happen again. We booked him back as soon as we had availability. So it's going to be next Wednesday. Thursday night, we welcome back another friend, Constance Victoria Briggs, and she's going to be talking about her book, Unseen World. Bum, bum, bum. So there, I love it. I love it. So thank you to United Public Radio, UFO Paranormal Radio, Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, Justin Snicker, Folgers Coffee. We love you. Steve McGinnis. And thanks to all of you guys. And thanks, Michelle. We'd love to indulge. Yes, we do. But you know what? You guys come up with great things too.
I learned a lot from you guys tonight.
So I also want to put down, if there's something you want to talk about, let us know.
Then go to the Facebook page.
Go to the Facebook page, email us. Here we go. We're going to put this email up for you guys right here, there. And it's not moving. Sorry.
No, but if they go to the Facebook page, they can just hit and it'll go straight to email, right?
You could do that as well.
In case you can't write that down or can't remember.
Yeah. So give us some ideas. I've just recently got a few different emails from people who actually want to come on the show. So we're
Cool.
going to be looking at new blood coming on soon. That's always exciting. Anyway, so we will see you guys next week, and all be safe this weekend.
It's a long one.
It's a
Safe
long
back to
weekend in
school
Canada.
week
It is. Yeah, it is back to
and
school for a lot of
yeah.
people. So just be safe. Watch the little, kidlets out the beginning of next week. I know in the US it's already started.
Yeah.
Watch for them all, because you're going to be sharing space with school buses and such. So let's all try to be mindful, and let's just open our minds up a little bit and see what's floating about, and keep your eyes open. Let's see what's really happening out there. Anyway, good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.